Like you can see, we have a heavy-duty panel with a lot of amazing panel members. I call this the institutional panel. So let me start from Jan all over to the other side. Jan, you are the CEO of Grundig Academy. It's one of the old world and new world, scale-ups, if I may say. You're trying to do AI skilling for the future. Can you just throw some light on what Grundig wants to do in the next 5 to 10 years, and where does it see cooperation and collaboration with India? Are you already doing something, and a little more? Maybe 2-3 minutes, take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. And as I said before, it feels like home. So, and that expresses already what we do. Yes. We are bridging the world. So we are Germany-based, and Grundig Academy, maybe Grundig you might recall, TV sets, radios, that's it. So we've got a long heritage on this one. And it's a good example when solution sometimes lives shorter than academia does. So we are Grundig Academy. We understand ourselves as the hub for transformative education. All right, so we understand ourselves as a hub for transformative education on one side, and on the other side being the launchpad for disruptive solutions. So if you have new technology coming in, you need education to understand what's behind. So this is the transformative education part. But you've done the education, now you want the solution. Okay, this is what we do, being the launchpad for disruptive solutions. So we are combining both sides, education and launchpad for solutions. And for a practical, example here in the room, Prayukt from Shieldworks. Prayukt, where are you? There he is, Prayukt. So we are taking Shieldworks for training into Germany, and we're providing cybersecurity training for critical infrastructure. Excellent. So to understand what the needs are. We do the same thing with Cypherma, Philipp Varogis, he's been here on the panel, and we are bringing them to Germany and doing critical infrastructure trainings. At the same time, providing a reseller position for ourselves to provide this solution to the German market. But not only the German market, we are in Turkey as well, so Istanbul, we've got a Grundig Academy Istanbul, and we are soon to open up one in
India.
Bangalore.
Bangalore, okay.
Because that's the place to be. We are coming to Bangalore because we've got so many things to do together. Data, we are working together with Bosch Global Services for a long time. We're going to bring high voltage training together with Cognizant Mobility to India to explore that field together. We are bringing autonomous driving from India to Germany. So we're bridging the world. That's what we do as Grundig Academy. And I'm happy to connect with everybody, including Infosys, our German friends, to see what we can do together with the VCs, what could be the next step. So bridging the world, that's what we do.
Excellent. Thank you, Jan, for that answer. I hope you have enough business cards, because you will be mobbed at lunch and everybody will want to step on that bridge, right? So thank you so much for believing in India and the India-EU friendship and collaboration. Thank you so much. Now I go to Venk. You have recently taken over as the president of TIE Bangalore. TIE, for those of you who don't know, is called the Indus Entrepreneurs. It's that organization that supports founders in their journey, because a founder's journey is quite lonely, sometimes very scary. Out of every 10 startups, 8 close in 2 years. Only 2 are left. So it's a very scary journey, and TIE as an organization helps founders in that difficult moment, because even if we can take that number from 2 to 4, that's huge, because that's double the number of successful startups, and that helps the economy, job growth, and progress overall. Could you give us a little bit sense of what are the key initiatives of TIE, and how do you really support the startup ecosystem? Over to you, Venk.
Yeah, thanks, Jose. See, the thing is, I don't know how many of you know that TIE is one of the premier entrepreneur organizations which has been in existence for over 40 years, maybe. In fact, TIE Bangalore is the biggest ecosystem after Silicon Valley. In fact, we believe we are bigger from the number of, but on a bigger, I'm also a venture capitalist. I run a fund called New Ventures, and we have made some disruptive investments in companies like Acco and Big Basket and others. So that being said, I think one of the vision of TIE is to foster entrepreneurship, right? And not just foster. And one of the charters we have, because I just took over a month back, is how do we lead entrepreneurs? Not just give advice, not just mentor. How can we lead them, right? So that is one of the goals we have set ourselves. We have a organization which is ready, and I think, I don't know how many of you know this, we have a charter membership, and one of the only organizations in the world where members pay to give, right? So we give back. So a charter member in TIE is somebody who pays to become a charter member, and goes through a rigorous process of selection. How can he help? So we have over 240 charter members in Bangalore, and we are looking for others to join us who want to help, who want to give back, right? And I think the key for any innovation or any startup is innovation and disruption, right? We are seeing that there are a lot of, like what you said, a lot of startups are struggling. In fact, I see in my own portfolio, a lot of people, a lot of founders are struggling, and how can we help, right? Rather than just give them advice, how can we lead them? So that is one of the missions we have set ourselves. Now, I want to ask you guys, I don't know how many of you watched the tennis game yesterday, between Djokovic and Alcaraz, right? If you look at the camera technology there, right, you don't need ball boys anymore, right? There is no appealing anymore. The technology is so advanced, and that is, I heard, is a Chinese technology. That is innovation. That is disruption. That is what we need from India, right? It is so accurate. It can predict, using AI, it can predict if the ball is in or out. Right? If you remember in the past, the umpire has to get in and he has to rub and say if it is in or out, but look at the disruption, right? So that is where India should be, and I think we are getting there. I'm very positive. We have a lot of entrepreneurs and whom we hope to help, and I think in the next decade, I think India will be as good or even better than China. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. At the Future ICT Forum and TIA Summit, we try to bridge the most difficult gap, the gap between money and ideas. So today, this evening, we have a VC and CXO roundtable where about 50 VCs will be here in person. Sudhir and so on will also be here. We want the people in the startup community to understand how the VCs deploy capital so that they can pivot or orient themselves to speak a similar language so that things are faster, better for everyone. Now let's go to Sudhir. Sudhir, you run almost $1 billion+ Celesta Capital here out of India, and you have done a lot of interesting investments in India and also globally. You were also at Israel for the innovation delegation. And I've seen you always curious and looking, where is the next big opportunity? Can you tell us, how do you see the landscape in India, especially for VCs and startups? And is it accelerating? Is there enough dry powder? How many startups can benefit? And any other insights? Over to you. I know you are a philosopher as well, so I leave the floor fairly wide and open. Over to you, Sudhir.
Thanks a lot, Jose. Thanks for having me here. I think over the last 40 years that I've been working, I see the next 10 years even more energetic than ever before. We have a population of 1.5 billion. Most of us are below the age of 25. We have only 10% of us who are aging in India, and that's out of a 7 billion population globally. That gives us immense energy, raw energy of the youth. I think what we, at our age at least, or what we do at our firm, is to bring operating expertise that we've built over the last 30, 40 years to these 25-year-olds. If I look at our recent investment in a company called Agnikul, it's the world's first 3D printed Inconel rocket engine. It is the SpaceX of India. This has been built at an educational institution at IIT Madras with tremendous guidance from professors and some of us as investors. What it does for this young company, and by the way, the average age of the employees in this company is 23. They're building a rocket engine with no prior baggage, which is very important. What you then do is you look at population scale problems globally. We all believe that we do need low Earth orbit, and we need engines that are cheap, interoperable, fast, modular, scalable, and be able to provide sovereignty to 50 countries if they want to attract or use space. It needn't be the preserve of 3 or 5 countries globally. India will lead this role globally. But who were they advised by? We have over 60 advisors, ex-Indian Space Research Organization employees who consult and who participate. What I really liked, Jan, is that Grundig was a company's tape recorders that we first met 40 years ago. And you are really bringing fundamental tradition, fundamental experience that engineering requires, deep technology requires. It's the combination. It is the combination of youth and energy with wisdom and experience that will generate products, platforms, and services that we need desperately over the next 20, 30 years for the world. The world is a $110 trillion GDP with debt at $300 trillion, which is unsustainable. We have a planet that is endangered. We have humanity underserved. We have environment that we need to protect. So if I look at any solution, deep tech is not a cherry on the wedding cake. It is going to be the base of the cake. And for India, we need that for ourselves because we have to solve for $1.5 billion. We've been fortunate to work with government to build policy infrastructure, to attract public infrastructure to participate so that private infrastructure made up of startups, innovators, as well as large enterprises to swim in this ocean, right? So to take this forward, I was just telling her that I saw Infosys with 165 people when we went public in 1993. It's a proud thing for us that over 6 million people, talented people, now power technology globally. 1 out of 4 employees in technology sit between Bangalore, Pune, Chennai, Hyderabad, Delhi, Bombay. And this just happened in my lifetime in the last 25 years. If I look at the next 20 years, quantum technologies, medtech, pharmaceuticals, designed afresh, not the way it was done before, using AI, using deep technology, will emerge from India. I am as excited as when I was 18.
Excellent. So the next decade belongs to India to the world and the world to India. Thank you so much, Sudhir, for that wonderful outlay. I think you have given some excellent points and words and target markets which startups can really focus and realign or pivot as well. Now let me go to Avnish Sabharwal from Accenture. Over the last 12 years, what you did with Accenture Ventures as a CVC is built it to be one of the largest deep tech VCs in India, or maybe globally as well. Could you tell us a few things? Because when you do deep techs, some years ago, 10 years ago, maybe people thought you were crazy and not chasing the regular things, and instead of the SaaS model or something like that, you went into deep tech. And also give us 1 or 2 of the acquisitions that you recently did, so the audience understands the depth and the breadth of what you were powering at Accenture Ventures, and where that is going from here. Over to you, Avnish.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Jose, for inviting me. So yes, as Jose said, that we started working, or Accenture Ventures started working with deep tech in 2013, when nobody even had heard about this, because SaaS was something which was in everybody's lips. Deep tech was not, and since then it has been a remarkable journey. So now over the last 12, 13 years, Accenture Ventures has become a de facto destination for all deep tech, deep science, and climate tech startups, based on the kind of focus we have put on them. So in terms of what we did and how we reached to a position where we are today, I think the first thing is very clear that we started with the focus on solving a tough business problem. I think our Infosys colleague also talked about that in the morning, that you don't start with technology, start with identifying what is the problem. And we wanted to solve some very tough problems, right? So that was the first starting point. It was not tech. Then in terms of the focus, we were always clear that we wanted to go into what we call B2B growth stage deep tech, right? All the three words were very important for us. And in terms of the focus area, we were looking for startups which we used to call 2-inch wide and 20-inch deep, right? They only did one thing, and in that they were able or capable to disrupt the entire value chain of an industry. So that focus gave us a lot of momentum. And we knew that what kind of startups we would, because with Accenture, there are 800,000 people there, right? So any normal technology, we can build it overnight. What we were looking for, disruptive technologies and IPs and platforms, which were protected by patents, and as I said, had very disruptive powers. So that was the second thing. The third, we built a very enviable ecosystem. It takes a village to raise a child, and in this case also, it would be wrong for me to say that it is all the result of what Accenture Ventures did. We were helped tremendously by our VC friends. So these are sitting here, but also with government, industry bodies like NASSCOM, FICCI, CII, and a lot of work which we did with academia. So IIT Madras was our hunting ground, and we have significantly invested in IIT Madras, Indian Institute of Science, to actually go and work on very deep, difficult problems of our clients, and also harnessing the power of tech ecosystem startups, which are present in those institutes. The next was that when I started this thing, I was lucky enough to go and visit all the important innovation hubs across the world. I definitely started with Israel, and I had a role to play in starting the India-Israel corridor as well. The paper we wrote was the paper which Prime Minister Modi took with him in his first visit to Israel. So starting this corridor and then working with other important corridors like Switzerland, Germany, Nordics, I could bring the best practices from each of those ecosystems into India, right? Finally, what I like to say here is that we did some things which were good, which is that we never, ever had any issues as far as IP is concerned with our startups. We were clear that we will not disrupt the IPs, and we will never poach talent from our startups. The things which we were very careful not to do, and I think those mattered a lot, and that is why we have this credibility in India, is one, we did not enter the free POC mafia, right? In deep tech, this is a very, very big problem. All deep tech startups are told by big enterprises to do free POCs. I made it clear that neither Accenture nor our client will ever do a free POC. That's first. The second is, a lot of these startups end up in cohorts and accelerators, what I call a startup zoo. We never built a startup zoo in Accenture. And the third thing is we never entered into innovation theater, or what I call startup tourism. These are the best practices which we followed, which made startups gain trust with Accenture. And I think everything in the end is all based on trust. So these are some of the things, Jose, which I would like to share from the journey of Accenture Ventures.
Thank you so much. Can you give us two of the acquisitions that you anchored here?
All right, so a couple of acquisitions and investments. Our latest investment is in a startup called Lizer. Lizer is an agentic AI, autonomous AI startup. Accenture is betting big time on autonomous AI, so that's one of the investments which we have done. They were part of the Accenture Ventures Challenge. We do the biggest deep tech challenge in India, which is called the Accenture Ventures Tech Next Challenge. Lizer was the winner of that 2 years back. And after 2 years, we actually, during those 2 years, worked with Lizer in a joint go-to-market. We took them to 30 clients, saw their technology work in those client environments, and then invested. So that's Lizer.
Volume of investment? You already mentioned the volume of investment.
Yeah, yeah. So investments, we have done significant investments, but in terms of the go-to-market, additional revenue which we have gained is about 1.5 billion of working with these deep tech and enterprise SaaS and what I call tough tech. Tough tech is deep tech plus, which is basically climate and sustainability. The other startup which we are very proud to have acquired is a startup called Flutura. Flutura is an industrial AI startup which competed with big boys like GE. And again, we worked with them over 6 years before we acquired them. So our thesis always has been to validate the deep technology in environments with Accenture and with our clients before we invest or acquire them.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Today I wanted this panel to have 3 different types of investors. One as Celesta investment house, TIE as a ecosystem for entrepreneurs itself, Accenture as a CVC, as a corporate venture fund, and now over to Irfan, because Irfan is heading what we call Capital HQ. Capital HQ is kind of a different animal and a different nature. So over to you, Irfan, to explain how big and wide Capital HQ is and what are its plans for India, because you are heading it in India. Over to you.
Thank you, Jose, and the Future ICT Forum for having me here all the way from Sydney, Australia, which is a pleasure to be here representing Down Under and a beautiful continent called Australia. But amongst the big wigs of India and Europe, as most of the European nations represented, and been a great session so far. I represent, wear multiple hats. Obviously, I'm a big advocate of Australia-India bilateral trade and investment. But again, beyond that, I'm a big advocate of cross-border investments and cross-border innovation bridges as well. Because I believe in this current world of all turmoil, multilateral collaboration, investment bridges, and innovation bridges are the key. And I'll dive into some of those elements, what we are looking to do out of Australia, but bridging into ASEAN countries with India as an anchor, and then other nations, regions including Middle East, Europe, and the Africa market as well. But more on Capital HQ. Capital HQ is a global investor ecosystem originated out of Sydney in Australia. It's a capital raise, AI-backed capital raise platform with over 40,000 plus investors, ranging from VCs through to HNIs, angel investors, all in the middle. We also have VC funds raising funds, various rounds through our platform. It's a structured capital raise platform, but also with a large ecosystem. So it's not just a digital platform, but it provides a large ecosystem connect that it brings with these investor bases that we have across the region. A couple of months back, in December, we launched Capital HQ in India, in Bangalore, and looking to scale and bridge this large ecosystem of investors and scale-ups who are ready to scale cross-border. The focus is facilitating cross-border investments and cross-border scale-up pathways through this platform. And we are looking to also launch into the Middle East later this year. We've got presence in Singapore, Hong Kong, of course Australia, also into London in the Europe, but we are looking to expand as well. So bringing cross-border investor ecosystem and the scale-up innovation ecosystem, building that global bridge, and of course backed by AI, in structured capital raise. We believe capital raise for any scale-up is not a one-off thing. It's an ongoing journey, and you build this investor relations as well as a scale-up. And we want to facilitate that through this platform and the ecosystem that we build and connect locally in these regions as well. We've had phenomenal success across the regions, but most importantly in India as well. We had so far great traction and interest, and we are looking to scale that as well.
Excellent. This is, I would say, the volume aggregation game. There are 40,000 investors who see every week, every day profiles of startups, and they can anonymously check all the numbers and AI matches the startup with the investor, correct?
Yeah, and also it's not only AI, and this is where we would look at cohorts of investor VCs within the regions. For example, if it's Accenture Venture, we would look at their cohort and see where there is co-investment possible on subsequent rounds, but also we'll leverage their intel and their due diligence as a lead investor and bring the co-investment as well. So we will look at not only AI, but also the human intelligence or the investor intelligence in the regional market to raise the co-investment for subsequent rounds.
Excellent. That's the ecosystem question, and happy to share that Irfan also will be there at our VC roundtable in the evening right here, and so people can meet him also at lunch as well. Thank you, Irfan.
Thank
now,
you.
let me go to Lisa from the DigiHub of Düsseldorf. It's really a very nice name, DigiHub. But we just wanted you to unpack for us what are the key things DigiHub does, and is it international? Can there be a India, Germany collaboration to be present at DigiHub and to explore opportunities there? So over to you, Lisa. Let us know, because Mayor also mentioned you in his speech, so we want to know a little more deeper what DigiHub does. Over to you.
Thank you so much for having me here. DigiHub is, I think our claim right now is where startups grow and change the world, and I really love that claim, especially us being a green tech startup and having that focus here today. I think our startups are really changing the world, but what we're actually doing is we take innovation and we turn it into real business value. I really love that, and you can imagine the DigiHub in Düsseldorf basically as the heart of the innovation and startup ecosystem, because we are connecting the startups but also companies. So we have a lot of partner corporates that are doing innovation projects with us, that are doing piloting with us, that we are connecting with the startups. But we also have a big network of investors, so we're also connecting startups with investors and with the research. So a lot of great cooperations with universities and research centers and labs as well. And maybe I can give you an example of a great startup journey that just unfolded during the last weeks that I personally really love, and especially targeted on green tech. We have an incubator program or an accelerator program for startups called Ignition, and there we help green tech startups to really scale from quite early stage. And there we had, just in one of the last batches, we had a startup called Co-Reactive that we helped to grow, and just last week secured a Series A funding round of 6.5 million euros, which is super impressive. And now we take that startup and help them on the next step to their journey, because we have another startup, which is actually not a startup anymore, but a scale-up called Greenlight. Greenlight is taking CO2 from the air and turning it into sustainable fuels. So don't ask me about the details, but I can connect you with the guys if you want to. And Co-Reactive, by the way, is taking CO2 from the air and turning it into cement and concrete for sustainable city building. So these two startups from different programs that we have, one from an early stage program and another one from our program Scale Up NRW, that is for scale-ups that are already looking for bigger fundings and support into internationalization to India, for example. We made a match between them. They invested in each other, so Greenlight invested into Co-Reactive, a great case. And what we did for Greenlight is we have one of our partner is the airport of Düsseldorf. So Greenlight right now is building a research lab at the airport of Düsseldorf to research into sustainable fuels for the airplanes, doing a cooperation together with Eurowings, one of the major airlines in Germany and in Europe. And I think that's just a beautiful example how we as DigiHub are helping to bring all this ecosystem together. And we're not doing that for German or NRW startups, but we're doing that globally as well. So we are partnering with GINSEP, with a German Indian startup exchange program, for example. So we're helping on the one side German startups to expand into India and to explore the Indian market, but we're also supporting Indian startups who want to come to Germany to gain cooperations with our partners and the corporates in Germany.
Excellent. Thank you, so much, Lisa. What I learned just now is not only flights take off from the Düsseldorf airport, but also ideas can take off. That's really a very, very interesting place to be, because it's a place where so many people come and go, and to have an acceleration possibility or ideas to get piloted and tested in that ecosystem is a very, very good use case market to scale. I think some of our startups and accelerators will take note. We could use, maybe there could be an MOU between one of the corporate accelerators and the Düsseldorf airport and DigiHub, tripartite. KDM is also here to see if some of our startups can pilot. You want to add a line? I see you taking the mic close by. You want to add a thought?
Sure, happy anytime. So reach out to me. I'm happy to connect. We also have a quite big event every year. It's the biggest B2B startup event hosted in Düsseldorf by the DigiHub called Future Tech Fest. I'm super happy to welcome many Indian startups as well. So let's connect.
Perfect. I was already informed that today from the morning to now, 4 MOUs have been signed. The details we will share after lunch because I will get it in writing. But just from the morning to now, a lot of collaboration has happened just outside this hall. So it's a place of action and, perfect pivot point as we move to the AHK or the Chamber of Commerce in Düsseldorf. Andreas Schmitz is here, who is leading the Chamber of Commerce. A lot of excitement, especially given that Chancellor Merz visited India, and a lot of announcements, a lot of action, and of course a lot of work for you at the Chamber to make sure all these things align into outcomes. I just want to ask you from your vantage point, as you see all this energy and action between the Indo-German corridor, what do you see and what do you sense are the low-hanging fruits? What things will take off in the coming days, and what opportunities are there which we can specifically explore, especially as an Indian audience? Over to you.
First, thank you for having me on stage. Let me answer a question which you haven't raised, because as an investment banker with 35 years experience and as someone who has also accompanied a lot of companies, my advice to young companies is always the worm has to attract the fish and not the fisherman. That is something, stick to your core business and develop it from there, and not trying to do everything at the same time. With a question based on Chancellor Merck's visit and also the signing the FDA, of course, you know that from a European point, European comes into a sandwich position between United States and China. So we all, the other nations, have to have a working relationship, work more closely together, and therefore it's a perfect starting point that this FDA is underwritten. And we already have seen over the last couple of years more and more interest into India. I'm traveling to India since 30 years, and I've seen also the development in India for the last 6 to 8 years with heavy investment in infrastructure, because I said always infrastructure has to come first, and then the rest will follow. And therefore, I think you see that German corporates not anymore, and I talk about the Chamber has 100,000 members in Düsseldorf and the greater area of Düsseldorf, which is a huge number. And this is the most diversified city in terms of businesses which you find in Germany. And, as the mayor said, the most international city. Many people believe it's Frankfurt. No, I'm a banker. It's only a banking city. If it's not Munich, it's not Stuttgart, it's not Hamburg, and it's not Hanover, it's Düsseldorf. And in Düsseldorf, I think we see a lot from our corporates, which is also the industrial area. 25% of the workforce in Düsseldorf is industrial or near to industrial, which is a huge number for such a city with 680,000 people. And we see a lot of inquiries coming up, and not that we see that as a sales ground, but more for strategic and long-term orientated partnerships. That's going forward. And that is something where, of course, we believe and see that India is a market for 1.4 billion people, and it's a developing market. It's growing by 6 to 8%. We know also that getting together with your energy question is getting a little bit more complicated these days. But anyhow, I think we have to stand together as the Germans, as Europeans, Canadians, Australians, Indians, whatever, to survive in this environment. And therefore, I think this is seen by every German corporate, especially the automotive industry is coming to. I was sitting in the board of a big automotive supplier, which is 55 Merck leader in roofs, Vaviasto. And we see there is a trend to have an operation in India to cover the Indian markets. The importance of local knowledge is also quite important. So therefore, I think there is a clear route forward, and we will follow it.
Excellent. So that's really amazing. 100,000 members or member companies as part of the Düsseldorf Chamber of Commerce. I mean, that's quite a record. And let's give a big round of applause. I never heard, 100,000 members in an organization. That's a huge and diverse group. And it's really interesting that your India-related activity. Oh, you want to add a few more points? Yeah.
I would add something, because our mayor did a good pitch. But what you should know as well, that North Rhine-Westphalia, in terms of GDP, is as big as Switzerland or the Netherlands, which is, I'm driven by figures, and it's nearly 1 billion euro. Yeah? No, 1 trillion euro, sorry.
Yes, 1 trillion,
we talk English. In Germany, would be...
Yes. Indeed, thanks for that additional point as well. NRW as a region, almost $1 trillion, which is probably the 5th largest country, if you look at it in that sense. But really great for that ecosystem approach. So those of you during lunch would like to meet and join also the Chamber of Commerce and to see how you can benefit from that collaboration, please meet Mr. Schulz. He'll be here during lunch as well. Thank you so much. And now we go to Luis Neves, CEO of Jesse. Jesse is one of the largest associations for sustainability-focused companies in the world. $4 trillion is the market share, last I checked, of your member companies. Tell us a little bit about Jesse, and you are in India, so what is your plan for India? And also give us an idea of how Indian companies, Indian startups can benefit if they join Jesse in the sustainability context. Over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Jos. That's a quite large question to answer. But I think Jos invited me here to pitch for tomorrow. So if you want to know more about Jesse, you need to come tomorrow. But I will give you some highlights about the organization. But let me start by saying and making a simple observation that I think it's relevant to the Deeptech AI talent discussion we are having here today. Digital technologies only deliver impact when the right institutions, skills, and ecosystems are in place. And above all, when they are human-centric and also purpose-driven. We talk a lot about technology, but the end game of this is that technology is for people. So if we do not have digital public infrastructure, if we don't have the right infrastructures, if we don't think about people, we will be lost. I would not like to see us to continue in the world where we are today, where 12 high-tech companies control half of the wealth of the planet. And this is the planet where we live. So we can talk about trillions here, but 12 companies in the world, they represent half of the wealth of the world where we live today. And I don't think this is sustainable, and this needs to be changed. And by the way, some of them, they belong to our organization, so, but I would like to see a little bit more of fair distribution as we move forward. So Jos mentioned that we are a global industry association. We have been working on the intersection between technology and sustainable development. So I'm not talking here about trillions, although as Jos mentioned, the market value of Jesse today, of our membership, is $4 trillion US, so 4 times bigger than Düsseldorf. But the point is, we need to think about business and sustainability interconnected. They should be interconnected. And when we talk about sustainability, we talk about business, we talk about people, and we talk about environment. And all these 3 dimensions, they generate value. I used to be the Chief Sustainability Officer of Deutsche Telekom in Germany. I worked for Deutsche Telekom 17 years. I started the sustainability practice in the company many years ago. I ran the first social audits of the company in China and in many other parts of the world. And we always drove our strategy looking at people, looking at the environment, and looking at growth. So when we were discussing CO2 emissions, I was discussing energy consumption. How much can we reduce energy? And then we can account for the CO2 after that. So instead of a 20% CO2 target, I moved to a 20% energy reduction target, which is higher than the 20% CO2. And with that, I reduce the energy bill of the company in a couple of million of euros, by the way, which would be enough to pay all my team all over the year. So this is the type of mindset that we have in Jesse. So we work on, as I said, on the intersection between sustainability and technology. And by doing that, we generate a lot of value for our members. We put the members, the companies, to work together with each other. We are a kind of broker inside the organization. We have energy companies working with digital companies. So if you want to have a good energy or green energy environment, you need digital technologies. You need a good infrastructure. Without that, you cannot achieve the good energy environment. So another aspect of our organization, and coming to a point that Jos raised at the beginning, we're talking about collaboration. But collaboration means to talk with each other. In our organization, we are the only private sector organization in the world that has private sector companies working with over 100 different organizations, being universities, science, UN institutions, startups. We have the biggest startup organization in Jersey, which is the Greentown Labs from MIT. So we work with them. We invite our companies to work with startups directly. Through that, we generate value for the companies. So for tomorrow's discussion, I would like to highlight 4 big projects that we have now in Jersey. One is the United Nations Solutions Hub. So in Belém, last November, at COP30, at the Climate Convention, we launched the UN Solutions Platform. This is a marketplace where we bring together cities, governments that need solutions with the private sector that has the solutions. With Tencent, our partner in China, we are developing the AI agent that is, organizing the matching between the solutions that are needed, and then we have the financial institutions working with us. Today, within a couple of months, we have more than 10,000 companies in the platform. From here, I'm going to China. We are signing partnerships with cities to bring the data to the platform so we can train the AI agent and then develop the marketplace. Another big project that we have is the European Green Digital Coalition. We are about to start a big project on AI in Europe. This will be a 2-year project with a think tank that was founded by Chancellor Helmut Kohl and the former President Valéry Giscard d'Estaing. We'll be working during 2 years with different stakeholders to analyze and to understand why Europe is in the situation that it is today. Because Europe is in the middle of China and the United States. And we need to change this. We need to create a different environment, create a different way of talking with each other that goes beyond the traditional regulatory framework that puts a burden on business. And that burden, if not, let's say, solved, will create also problems to the current agreement that you have with India. And so these are the type of things that we do in Jesse. So bringing the private sector together, different institutions, policymakers, UN, and working with an objective, which is creating a better environment for business and also creating a better environment for the planet.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that very comprehensive answer. Delighted to also have Jesse as one of the co-hosts for this summit. Tomorrow is the Digital with Purpose India edition in Bangalore. And we have also Maria Joao, one of the EU commissioners, former commissioners, who is here in person. She's already in Bangalore. She will be speaking as well tomorrow. There will be a lot of opportunities emerging out of the conversations tomorrow. Digital with Purpose is the summit. If you haven't registered, you could, and you can most welcome to join. And Luis again will be sharing clearly more opportunities where startups in India can benefit, collaborate, amplify, connect.
Can I say one thing about digital repurpose? Digital repurpose is a report that we did in 2019 that was launched at UN General Assembly. We analyzed 7 disruptive digital technologies in connection with the 17 Sustainable Development Goals and the 169 targets. We spent 7 months with a global team from Deloitte and more than 200 of our members developing this report. 500 case studies were analyzed, and the conclusion of the report was that digital technologies can impact 45% in a positive manner of the Sustainable Development Goals. And the business value that we calculated was equivalent to the GDP of China per year. So this is the type of work that we do, and so tomorrow we'll be talking about it, also because we established a digital repurpose award for the best solutions in every single sector: health, education, agriculture, mobility, cities. So we give the award every year, and this year will be in China in June, not tomorrow here.
Thank you, thank you. You know, that's really interesting to highlight the solutions that can help the SDGs of UN to be achieved. And it's really important to showcase some of the startups that have those solutions. You know, perfect segue as we now go to Dattatreya Salugame, who is our CEO of Bosch Global Solutions. You know, I have to say that I am very impressed and follow his work very closely. In fact, our summit, Future ICT Forum, also is taking inspiration from your transformation because you had a campaign which was called Alt Future, you know, where you made the whole organization reorient towards digital and towards the future. So can you tell us that story? Because, you know, I saw it in social media and we took the name Future ICT Forum. But I just want to know the backstory and how that came about and how you could transform this really large organization and also German large organization to be ready for, you know, the next decade or the next decade. Over to you, Tata.
Thank you, Jose. Always pleasure to be in your conferences. We had the unique pleasure of hosting Chancellor Metz in Bosch. So we had a very interesting conversation with him. I was really surprised the kind of deep interest that he showed in quantum AI, which we had a debate with him. You mentioned Alt Future. Actually, the term was alternate future or alter the future. But I had to earn some flack from my German colleagues because alt in Germany is old. Many people ask, why did you choose the word alt? You know, how can the future be alt? But, you know, large portion of our organization is in India, so Alt Future was quite a hit because it's like alt key, right? Alt enter. So, yeah, I mean, you know, we are in a very unique position as Bosch. We write millions of lines of software which goes into every car in the world. There are two things which are happening for us. The way you build software is getting disrupted, while the software in the car is becoming very valuable. You know, you face two ends of it. So the car is becoming software or AI is becoming very valuable inside the car. So that's the reason you hear very often software-defined vehicle, AI-defined vehicle spoken a lot. But how you build software is getting completely disrupted, mainly because of AI. So you manage both. Both have contradictions, but the basic view of how to transform the organization to AI-first thinking and to make a tier one very competitive in an AI-defined vehicle format. So that's the mission that we are driving. But the good part is now there's so much of focus on India. See, we do about 1.7 billion worth of engineering for the whole world. To be honest, in the past, we were doing less than 10% for India. But the kind of change, the dynamism that you see in the automotive sector in India, our focus on India has a quantum jump. So the other axis that we are adding is how can we cater to the Indian market with technologies that we never thought will come to India. for example, autonomous driving, level 3 and above, for India, was seen as a decade later. But believe me, today, many of the OEs are wanting to bring it in India. Of course, you need to figure out the cows and dogs on the road and, have models which recognize them, navigate around them. But we are building very, very native models, including the language models. So the best part is you can't do it alone. You have to work with startups and companies which are already doing it. We are working with startups who are actually building language models. If you see, there are more than 28 official languages in India. And if car has to speak all these languages in India, you need to rely on these models. So there's a very strong interdependency with the startups with whom we work. And that is not restricted to only India. We work with startups around the world. So the India opportunity, I see transforming the organizations here on a very different scale. So that's very exciting, apart from moving the organization to an AI-first organization.
Excellent. This is really amazing. Initially, it was built from India. Now it's built for India. And now it is built for the world from India.
No, I think since you bring this point, we were building for countries like China, right? We were building software which goes into some of these cars for a long time. Now, Indian OEMs are looking at Chinese OEMs and say, how can we have features which are there in those cars? So what you built for China, we now, maybe after 7-8 years, we need to bring it back to India, but not exactly the same, but tailored and modified for India. And we do the same thing. What we built for Germany maybe a decade back, or for the last few years, we need to bring it back to India with a very, very different flavor.
Excellent. I think I can see in that one sentence multiple opportunity for startups and ecosystem players to accelerate that transition and make sure that businesses can win and create solutions that make the customer say, wow, what an amazing experience. Even though we spoke about traffic in the morning and, is it possible to make that decision? And as we finish the whole first round in this very, very large panel, it's a perfect segue to go to Sanjeev Gupta ji. Big round of applause for Mr. Sanjeev. He is the CEO of Karnataka Digital Economy Mission. It's a very unique thing that Karnataka as a state understood much earlier that digital economy will be the future, and it's important to have that as a separate entity to focus on that. And if some of you have been following Sanjeev on social media, sometimes you wonder whether he has a physical avatar in multiple cities. You will see him in Mangalore, Mysore, Hubli, Bangalore, basically pushing the envelope and getting everybody excited. And I know I'm delaying him to speak. Once he gives a speech, you will all be inspired. But over to you, Sanjeev. Since everybody has spoken about digital capital transformation, future, you can summarize it and tell us why Karnataka is the place and why from Karnataka the whole world can be served. Over to you, Sanjeev.
Thank you, Jose, for inviting me and giving me the opportunity, especially when, first of all, warm welcome to all of the international delegates who has joined us in the city of innovation and the capital of unicorns and the tech city of the world. So warm welcome to all of you on behalf of the citizens and on behalf of the government of Karnataka. Jose, the topic was really great, right? You talk about a deep tech, and especially looking at the sustainability angle on the deep tech side. Just to let you know, last Bangalore Tech Summit, when we were doing this biggest Asia's tech summit, which happens every year in India, in Bangalore, we announced very carefully a deep tech decade. If you will ever notice that, so state of Karnataka promising to the world that in next 10 years, we will be not only shaping India's journey on the deep tech, but actually providing global solutions and global answers for the problems that the world is going to face, or maybe challenging opportunities come forward. With this deep tech decade, we actually started a program with partners. Some of them are here, like Sudhir is here, Murli is here. We all work together to ensure that we have initially thrust around 600 crores of Indian rupees, which were put together in just 1 month period of time, to ensure that we showcase the power of collaboration, the power of working together in the deep tech area, and out of which 110 crores were actually given to the institutions, or 11 institutions were identified across the state of Karnataka, and roughly 110 crores were given to them to find out an R&D opportunities in the deep tech area. Find out the entrepreneurs and ideas of the students who are going to come up, and can we motivate them. In fact, DigiHub could be one example where we can collaborate more going forward, madam. After saying this, but before that, the deep tech came, we were thinking about a quantum as a very important element. And we announced the quantum mission, right? And if you remember in July last year, we talked about the quantum mission in a big way. This big way is calling about a Q city to be set up in Karnataka, first and ever in Asia, where we're putting together a Q city. Now what it means is, it's going to demonstrate 3 different areas for us. One, primarily looking at the R&D work which is required to run for the quantum. Can we create 1,000 bits of processor, right? Can we also have hardware manufacturing coming out from that zones? Advanced manufacturing that we can put together with precision tools and technologies. So that's the second piece. And third piece on the QCity is encouraging the startup from across the globe to join us in this innovation circle of creating solutions on the quantum side. We also understand that the talent will become a very important element in the quantum side story. And hence we started working on Q Daksha, Q Karyashala, working with the institutions. We identified 20 top engineering colleges in the state, where we are trying to push together an envelope of curriculum and content. In fact, one of the sandboxes on cybersecurity is going to come up very shortly. I can't share right now. We are working on the hand in hand with a couple of leaders sitting here on the dais as well, right? And who soon we will be able to announce that on a cybersecurity sandbox on quantum side. Story of the AI is very well known. I don't know how much of you know or not, but Karnataka has 600,000 AI talented resources, largest, right? Talking about of the 600 plus AI startup which is there, roughly around 258, roughly around 258 has been also got funded with startups. And those startups has raised roughly $2 billion of USD, and some of them are at a Series A level plus. We have also set up Center of Excellence on AI, very different kinds. A Center of Excellence on AI, which is for solutioning of applications, accelerator on the AI technologies, Center of Excellence for public usage of AI and public governance, how we can use that. Center of Excellence for commercialization of AI technology. So multiple versions of the Center of Excellence has been set up, and we invested money of 20 crores or 25 crores or 30 crores or 50 crores rupees in each of these Center of Excellences to make up. And these are all spread across from Dharwad to Bangalore to Mysore region. The other element where we're looking at is the culmination of all these deep tech into a sustainability. And in the sustainability, just to let you know, roughly this Elevate program that we finished right now, Elevate is a program where Government of Karnataka gives grants to convert your idea into POC. We just finished, Elevate program of a campaign where we got 146 startups in sustainability. And we released roughly around 38.85 crores to them. That means roughly around $4.6 million as a grant money just on sustainability. I need a hand applause for my Karnataka state. This deserves one. It's not an easy task to bring out those sustainability practices in such a big way. These are the efforts which the government of Karnataka is trying to put together. And not only this, if you look at the initiatives where we are trying to usage in our side, do you know that Bangalore urban ecosystem or the water supply ecosystem today is run on AI? Your water which you receive at home is running on AI model. 15,000 kilometers of the pipeline that we run, leakages are stopped because of the sensors and the IoT and the AI-driven mechanism that we are trying to put together. And it's not a pilot, friend. It's a high scale. We're implementing across these pipelines. So usage of AI into the real world is also a case that we are trying to put together. In fact, we have reduced 15 to 20% of water losses in just a year. So these are the practices when we go. Take an example of power. Karnataka is the only state where we have 16 plus gigawatt of renewable energy. Only one state with solar and power. Our own state, SCADA ecosystem that we work, And the way that AI sensors are put across on this, we have actually come across the forecasting of the power consumption at a household level now. And those smart metering, which giving me the results after this part, is also making me the calculations in terms of whether I can sell my power or not. Based on that approach, today we have seen 20% reduction in the power transmission losses from our state itself. So we are not only just putting up this ecosystem of development, but we're also using this in our own governance model to ensure that we show these live examples of how it is happening around. During the electrical mobility, just to share with you, the largest number of charge stations that have been put in places anywhere in India is in Karnataka. 4,600 charging stations in the state. We have 10,000 plus EV buses. Do you know every EV bus which comes out, when it replaces the oil-based or a gas-based one, approximately 1,000 kilogram of carbon dioxide has been reduced by one bus one day. Imagine the 10,000 buses which are going to fleet here in the state of Karnataka, the impact of positivity that we're going to bring in a sustainability practice by just using the deep tech and the AI forums on this part. Solid waste management is another one. Do you know how much we produce? Almost 11.5 megawatt of electricity is produced by just transforming the solid waste into the electricity production in Bidai, right? One of the largest of that plant that we have. We are trying to put together a lot of mechanism on these fields. Are we satisfied? We are recognized as the 14th ecosystem on entrepreneurship and ecosystem in the world. We are also recognized 5th AI ecosystem in the world. But we are hungry. We are hungry for more partnerships. Bosch is demonstrating a great initiative. Accenture is doing a wonderful work. We want to get inspired by them and see how much we can take up. The journey from here, from Bangalore, is to take to Mangalore, to Mysore, to other locations, and demonstrate the real capability of our entrepreneurs, usage, the talent, and the ecosystem. I would see if the GIS can initiate something in Mangalore as well with us, and look forward for those strong partnerships. Thank you, Juice.
Excellent.
I take a pause here with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that wonderful overview with numbers, with specific opportunities. Now I'm going to do something crazy. It was not planned, but it's always good to do crazy stuff. I want to celebrate democracy. Why? Germany is a democracy, India is a democracy. So this round, I'm not asking any question. Each of you have 1 minute to say what do you think makes sense to this amazing audience. So maybe we start from this side. Because Sanjeev you have to leave. Okay, Sanjeev has to go for a meeting with the secretary. Thank you so much, Sanjeev. Let's give a big round of applause to Sanjeev and also Gaurav for all the support that you do. Thank you so much. And I hope he met the mayor. And so, okay, thank you so much. Thank you, sir. So maybe, Jan, you get ready with your answer mentally as Sanjeev leaves as well. I will send you connections with each of them in case you want to start something. Thank you. Yes, Jan, may I ask to finish it in 1 minute. So all of us take 1 minute and then we are perfectly back on time with the event. Yes, over to you. Yeah.
So the reason why I'm here was just answered on that panel. The reason why I'm here is the audience. The reason why we're here is to rethink the world we are creating. And that's the only thing what we have to do as a task. That's the only thing.
Perfect.
We see all these challenges. The world gets brittle. The only answer for this one is to create opportunities. How do you do that? Through learning and Launchpad for disruptive solutions. So let's recreate the world we're living in. And I'm so, so glad to be with you on that panel. Thank you very much.
Excellent. So I take the word recreate. Excellent. So those who want to recreate, meet Jan at lunch and exchange your business card and ideas. Yeah, Weng.
I would think that we are in a decade where we are all fortunate to be an Indian, because I think we are at present the third largest ecosystem, but I think pretty soon we'll be the second. And I think platforms like TIE will surely leapfrog that. And I hope more of you will join TIE Bangalore and help us give back to the entrepreneurial system. Thanks.
Let's tie more collaborations together. Thank you, Weng. Sudhir.
I want to thank the city of Dusseldorf. I was 25 when I started my entrepreneurial career. And in a few years thereafter, that was 40 years ago, I failed in my first startup. I mean, I didn't fail, but I shut it. It was in electronics. And it took me to a small town in Tamil Nadu called Sivakasi, which is the printing hub of this country. In 1990, I had the opportunity then to go to Dusseldorf to attend the Drupa. one walk around the Messe, and Stefan Keller is not here, but I want to thank that one visit. When we talk about corridors, collectives, communities, and creative thinking, to expand one's mind, you have to go to Dusseldorf, to the Messe. Every entrepreneur here must. If you want to understand size, scale, automation, any field you're in, every field you're in, that is a must visit. I was 29. I also got another part to my brain, my left side. My left side was like triggered, the logical side. But my right side, I went to Berlin. And so I want to thank the country of Germany to expand my mind. Because at that point of time, the wall had been broken down. When the wall came down, lots changed for us as citizens of the world. I went to the wall and picked up a piece of the wall myself. I still have it, 36 years later. It's a great reminder of a democracy, of people's rights, of wanting to do some stuff for the planet, for the environment, sustainability, cities that must thrive on communities, on collective work. I want to sit and thank you, Jose, for organizing this. I did not realize I'll actually be meeting a whole bunch of people from the city of Dusseldorf. I enjoyed the beer as well over there.
Thank you so much. So, message from there, go to Dusseldorf. All right. Thank you, Sudhir. Thank you. Yes, Avnishji.
Yeah, very quickly, I think, very excited with the opportunity between the India and Germany, especially Dusseldorf corridor as well. I think we are living in one of the most exciting and volatile time in terms of also the opportunity which is in front of us. I think from a deep tech perspective, India and Germany can do some fantastic work. They have complementary skills. And I look forward that both, getting German startups to India and Indian startups to Germany can start a big technology revolution, which will, I think, support the sovereignty of technology in both the countries. So very excited, and I would, like the entrepreneurs and startups in this room to make big use of this opportunity which is in front of us. And Jose, thank you for calling me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This partnership can go deep. That's a good message. All right. Irfan.
Thank you. I'm all for cross-border investments and global innovation bridges. We're leveraging India and Bangalore as the anchor hub for us to build these bridges. We are working with various governments here in India and other regions as well to onboard some of the vetted scale-ups on board and also VC firms on board and looking at their cohort where we can facilitate global scale-up investments. And that's something which we are keen to foster a lot. I also am a believer, and I've implemented that over the years between Australia and India, and even connecting and bridging with Israel and other regions where I believe deep tech and AI, it's essentially we want to build shared service platform which can be leveraged at scale, leveraging Bangalore and India as the partnering nation to enable adoption and the impact that we want to create for future sustainable cities. Thank you.
Excellent. Let's connect, share, and grow. Thank you, Irfan. Lisa.
Well, to all the startups here in the audience, especially the ones I already saw on stage this morning, keep being brave. I'm leaving this day today super inspired by all the innovations I have seen. And we heard about the German-Indian corridor a lot. I'm leaving this day and really believing that we're transforming this corridor right now from a business and export corridor to a true innovation corridor. And I'm really excited about that. So let's keep working on that, and maybe the next step can even be co-creations where we can combine talents from India and Germany and work on solutions together. I'm looking forward. Thank you.
Excellent. DigiHub is ready to co-create. All those who want to meet Lisa around lunch, you can meet. Thank you.
So I like the Indian entrepreneurship which I've seen, and I would like to get it concrete to fulfill our chances and not talk about obstacles. Which is in Germany quite common these days. And therefore, Don't talk about it, let's do it. Get concrete. That's my pleasure. And if we get this done, then I am pretty sure this Indian-German Düsseldorf relationship will develop.
Excellent. That's an advertisement for Nike. Let's do it with the tick mark, right? Thank you. Thank you for inspiring us to move to action from words. Louis, your thoughts and your words?
You want to know why I'm here?
Yeah.
Because of you. So- no, I ask myself many times, why do I travel to some places? I've been traveling the last 30 years around the world. I visited more than 160 countries. But I've never been to India, so this is my first time in India.
Oh.
And I'm very happy to be here. And what I would like to bring is the concept of that we need a purpose-driven approach to our lives and to business. I think it's very important that we think, when we think about business, we think that we are not alone, and this is not only to make profit for ourselves, that we need to go on a journey where we share what we developed, our capabilities that we share with the others, so that others can benefit from what we do. The second thought I would like to leave is that we're talking here about AI and technology. In 4 years' time, the conversation will be different from today. I spent my life in telecommunications. I'm only 37 years old, as you can see. But what I saw 40 years ago, it's totally different from what is today. And in 10 years' time, it will be even faster. So think about this, because disruption is continuous, and we need to make sure that we keep our feet on the ground. And finally, I came here because I like to learn and I like to share. And so I hope that during these 2 days, we can speak with each other, share what we think, and learn with each other. Thank you.
Excellent. Learning, sharing, and creating a world with a purpose and thinking of everyone. Thank you so much, Louis, for that wonderful message. And last word to Datta, and let us know what you think and what you feel as you look forward.
I'm in a unique position to talk about how nice it is to work with Germany, right? Because as Bosch, we were the first large technical company to be setting up in India. It's not a surprise that I'm a massive admirer of German engineering, deep tech, precision engineering, domain knowledge, and ability to think, solve problems from first principles. This is, it's a very known model. India provides massive opportunity now. We can join hands and solve problems which are unique to India and make this relevant to the rest of the world. Bosch is seen as a Baden-Württemberg company, but we go beyond that. Our company in Bangalore it goes beyond Stuttgart. For sure, we will engage Düsseldorf much more.
Excellent.